And then we are going to spend some time on this particular case because a lot of explanations. What you say now for people who don't know, I've broken the news. And Mame Enda Melodies Ebusian for us yesterday. Say Enra meti news no, but I didn't report it yesterday. Na Melodies Ebusian for be na frame na omo ebi mo reach out to me, ebi mo so frame me say news we aba menya na me from man betum. Into mo nyina say news bi aba mo pese me de ba betum no, me da mo nyina say thank you very much. Now, if you don't know the story is that the Chief Justice, the sacked Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo has finally filed a lawsuit against the government. Walker say, the removal as a judge of the Supreme Court, no, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama only to me say was yes idea no into the court embongu. Not yet. What you say? Say ye as Chief Justice there no problem, but as a Supreme Court judge there on penima yen you know. Basically, so I've done a story and I've explained in that video. Now, this is coming from an NDC lawyer who is an MP in the name of Roxanne Nelson Lafiamekpo. I will also add any explanation. Now, answer the explanation is no. Meshre wa wotie me obi bia wotie me. You know yourself. So we fu eswa enya depa. Dr. Samaya Tiasie say efukese the yare enenam BP, diabetes, and all those dangerous cancer yare ninano efukese enedenam. Now I am speaking this way because I'm ready wona mefu so. And there mefu aye flat. Na enyama me ye enyama miensa me dia throw book. Book no comment box nimo. Me share o click here. Obehu if you want a hard copy of the book or you want say you use mobile money now the tia na when your book no obenya nini na say who ni makenkan don't worry there is a version of the book a year the tree video and no a year miana making kan e wo twi mu inti no and no say obebo video no na nini name no still say nyama making na want to make click link na comment box na on your book na number na e wo screen no eso no 0558074986 just WhatsApp or call that number and then you get the book. Very simple. Intino, I am giving this. If you purchase the book and you do every single thing in the book for 1 month, now still wait anchor for mana with full entry, I'll refund your money to you. That is how I trust the book. Yes. Anyway, yanko story anymore. Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo edin sem ababa betuja. Na yentie Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo. Or say CJ dismissal equals dismissal as a judge. So this is it now. What you say? Or say if you are dismissed as a Chief Justice, then you've been dismissed as a judge. Gertrude Torkornoo semwa wodi akokot sisia no. Or say Chief Justice de ye ne de. Now so as a judge no ye no. Inti ni kwan say Mahama enya to me say wo yi na as a judge because letter His Excellency John Dramani Mahama de by no o yi no as a judge and as a Chief Justice. Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo semwa kan o say by our constitutional architecture, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana sits in a composite capacity as both a justice of a superior courts as well as the administrative arrowhead of the judiciary. Into the first point, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo all can say by Ghana your constitution, you know, so you Chief Justice you are not only a Chief Justice, you are head of the judges. Osanso etinedrim ediasem as a judge. In other words, you cannot become a Chief Justice without first being a Justice of the Superior Court. The office name speaks for itself, Chief Justice, Chief of all the Justices. And muni na mutie me video the video na me ye and analysis na me ye. This is the same thing I said. Say answer na better than Chief Justice no. Naturally say, ye judge e wo Supreme Court. Untumi enye magistrate court judge ni enye Chief Justice. Inti Nelson Dafiamekpo nso nsem a wo no. The third point, also when one is appointed as a Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, she or he is not merely the admin head of the judiciary in pursuance of Article 1254 of the Constitution, but she or he is also a juristic officer of the Superior Court per Article 1281 of the Constitution. The trespasses that are capable of constituting a basis of a petition for the removal of Chief Judge as envisaged in Article 1464 of the Constitution inexorably leads to a removal when proven of the CJ qua CJ. Into tien semwa Roxin Dafia Mekbawo kana exactly what I said. You see, you being removed as a chief judge or a chief justice, no, it leads to your removal as a judge. Here. Basically, senior year cannot because a year bakun ema oba be year bakun. An example I gave, and they say, for those who have not watched my earlier video, the example I made or earlier video nimne say, muni namu ofie, yeso bokro no ofie ho ayebe pamel. Na bia ya ma wo wa ye fie ne captain, na wakwa bokro no. Still, yebe pamel. Untumi nka se medium ye fie ne captain nti na o de pame me ana yi me as a fie ne captain. Now so still my maintenance fee ho. So basically, utie Roxy Nelson Dafia Mekbonsemo Awokana. That is also the picture he's trying to paint. Also, such an exercise, therefore, is not one in demotion, but excision. Into what you say? Any demotion. That is why in the video I did, I also said, so you can't be removed as an appeals court judge. Now, I said because he me as appeals court judge, no. Menko na menko the moment mendane high court judge. Not to say ye demotive. In because what ye there, mammy or can. Or see ye as a chief justice, ye as a chief justice, ye yen some man named than a judge. It's just as you be as a appeals court judge. Or see you me as appeals court judge, ne dear. Mama men concord than a high court judge, not to say yen demotino. But Roxin Dafia Mekbonsemo Walker and say the removal as a chief justice is not a demotion exercise. A exercise a you as a judge in its entirety. Into yen to me conco you be as high court judge or see ye me as high court judge ne dear. Afe mama member than the magistrate court judge. Dabi ye you as a judge. Unye judge bium. Exactly. That's the same thing Roxin Dafia Mekbo is saying. That is, the CJ is removed from that composite position as both a justice of the Superior Court and as admin head of the judiciary because the proven grounds for dismissal, stated misbehavior, incompetence, infirmity of mind also go to the propriety to serve as Superior Court justice as well. It is not decoupled. Exactly. As I said, because you see where the boni stated misbehavior, near you as a chief justice, still sa boni no one would ye. Inti to me ma woman medane Supreme Court judge. Embra evidence what a trace with this abonne no. That's the same thing. Edie obi be feel say Roxin Dafia Mekbo obi be feel say bia me ne Roxin Dafia Mekbo. Ye dream pe. Asempe. Exactly what I said, and no one also pepe. I see the code of conduct for judges and magistrates in Ghana. And you see, I even forgot to add one thing in the story I did. And that thing, any. Even as a lawyer, right? Even as a lawyer, you see, so we a judge impo na odi bone na because Chief Justice ni case we krano. You bet to me the ejina sompo de yino. E de aje ne law certificate free nsem because once a competent committee has found stated misbehavior, she can even cease to become a lawyer. Right? Now, Roxin Dafia Mekbo says, see the code of conduct for judges and magistrates in Ghana. It is a judicial Bible containing all the forbidden transgressions of all judges in Ghana. A breach of a single code by a judge will result in his judicial doom. So see, judges and magistrates, code of conduct be kwa yese eyomo Bible. Now ko di Bible no omo Bible no in sema ewo mu no unim na wankwa ko di so udi agro waso be hye. Ose nearly 30 years ago, some hypocritical leaders of the Ghana Bar Association actually went to court to get the then sitting Chief Justice removed from office. The Supreme Court was confronted with similar debates now making the rounds. Ose 30 years ago, Ghana Bar Association Phobi omo adwen say omo be Chief Justice be free so NDC time Na saa time no conversations are so sisi ano eno na saa time nso so. So in what became known as Ghana Bar Association versus Attorney General 1995-6 GLR, the Supreme Court speaking through Ghana's judicial lionheart FY Pega JSC, as he then was, distilled the law as follows. Without mincing words, the ultimate result this action is intended to achieve for the plaintiff, Ghana Bar Association, is the removal of the second defendant as Chief Justice of Ghana and as a fallout, a judge of the Supreme Court. It was said in 1995, Ghana Bar Association for the court and nanko pese wo muyi Chief Justice then no judge not case ne so ebiemu obi ate ase say Ghana Bar Association for adia wo mo dia beyi say ye judge na the judge will be removed the judge will be removed as a judge and as a Chief Justice. And as ye Chief Justice now, that Chief Justice will be removed as a Chief Justice and as a judge. And I think that this settles it. If indeed, as Nelson Afiamekpo, Eddie Ababe Tuja, Emma ye name who say judge and massa judgment ye, and our massa statement ye, it was Supreme Court, then it settles it. I think that what the High Court, I don't want to be prejudicial, but it is likely that High Court now, Gertrude Torkornoo, they will quote this judge and say and tell her, say, based on 1995, Ghana Bar Association for case no, judge Nensim Wakana ye di jinaso near the ruling near the Tiano. Basically, I think that's what will happen. Or that's what might happen. Inti Roxin Dafiam Kotu say the substratum of the plaintiff's case, as we have stated earlier, is that the second defendant is not a man of high moral character and proven integrity to be the Chief Justice. Ipso facto, a judge of the Supreme Court, since the qualifications are admittedly the same. For if the second defendant is disqualified from occupying the post of Chief Justice on grounds of lack of integrity, I do not see how he can continue to be a judge of the Supreme Court. So it is a case and a judge by name FY Pega Ama a year ruling so. Say you as a Chief Justice, there's no reason I was still what I say as a judge, because you will say with the bonnet. That's the way the bonnet as Chief Justice ye ma won sam so fast bonnet no mra me da ne judge dabi until you ruling at that 1995 to 1996. I say where a law sets out a procedure for how a thing is to be done, it is only that procedure that must be followed. See Boyefuo versus NTHC. Let me rest here by invoking the morbid gladiatory salutation directed at the court, thus Ave Imperator Morituri. T salutan, to wit, this case that is likely about to fail salutes you. Torkornoo files judicial blah 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 blah. So basically, that is what Roxin Nelson Afiamekpo and I agree. I mean, senior American, you would think that we thought the same, because in some way kind and no answer no I just I didn't have the legal basis or know what the legal basis no aka ho am I who say and no. Montreal what your comment box nimo.